All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, you're muted still.
Okay, there we go.
Now I can hear you.
Hey,
Perfect. Good night. Good night. How are you? You look great. How are you?
thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Can't complain at all. Cannot complain. So, a lot has happened since our last conversation.
Yes, it has.
Welcome into the audience. Welcome to The Women Are Out of Control. Tonight, we are having a follow up conversation with our beautiful guest, Gabby, who shared her story of walking away from the Hebrew Israelite movement as well as her marriage that was formed while she was inside of that space.
Mhm.
Kind of can't talk about walking away from the marriage without talking about walking away from the movement because the marriage was a product of the movement. And so after our last conversation, Gabby, which you shared your story so beautifully, first
Thank you.
let's start there. Um, After our last conversation, I had folks reach out to me directly. I had folks reach out in the DMs who are like, I still have questions. Like, this
Okay.
was really good. This conversation was great. And I need to know more about
Right.
that experience. And specifically, so many people are walking through religious deconstruction right now. So many
Mhm.
people are waking up and remembering their own power, and sometimes not even that, just deciding, you know what, this doesn't feel right, and I don't quite know what feels right yet, but this isn't that. And so a lot of the questions that we got were pertaining to what your life was like within that experience, what those real awakening moments were like for you. Um, so are you ready to go deeper into that?
Yeah, we're supposed to be out of control, so let's go.
Yes. Yes, and that's really what keeps coming up is the women are out of control because that's where they're supposed to be. That is where they're supposed to be. We are seeing what the world looks like when women are oppressed and suppressed and under control,
Yes.
particularly under the control of those who have no idea whatsoever of our power. Our Most of them don't even understand our biology. So
Right.
you get here through a woman and you don't even understand that part.
At
So
all.
going deeper into understanding how to wield this power, or even if you're going to control it, how do you contain it? How do you direct it? How do you Most women who are under control are dry. I don't mean to say dry, but that's the word that's coming up, y'all. Dry, boring versions of themselves. Versions of themselves that other people have told them this is okay for you to be,
Right.
rather than being whatever
Right.
comes up, you know.
Mhm.
So, of course, you shared that when you all walked away from the Hebrew Israelite movement, and I was in that class of people that walked away at the same time, that it was during a time where there was a scandal with the bishop, um, and it kind of rocked everyone's world who was in that world at the time.
Yes.
Yours more so because you were very intimately interwoven into the bishop's family.
Right.
So the first question that came, and I think we kind of went into what exactly he did, but I guess they want to know kind of more. What exactly did the bishop do? And in hindsight, especially from your vantage point, were there signs that something was off before?
Okay. So the first part of your question is what did he do?
Mhm.
So the bishop was accused of, which was later found it true, he extorted a brother for millions and even went as far as like stole his business right from up under him, like blocked him out of all his accounts. And then even from there, it went to, oh, you're living in his house and you haven't paid rent in 2 years. So the brother the bishop was extorting, he was renting a home, but we all thought it was his house. Like none of us ever knew there was like, a deal going on between these two. So basically, he didn't pay the brother for 2 years, did like all this construction on the house, like without his approval. And then when it came down to, okay, you've extorted me and you did this, which we call the Exodus, that's
Mm-hmm.
when everybody left. It all came out. And it was just like, he did what? Like, he extorted him. He took his business from right up under him, like, blocked him out of it. He trashed his house when they finally did get him out because the cops had to remove him from the situation. Like, he got locked up. And it was just crazy because the brother he did it to was an ex NFL player. And so the money, no disrespect to him, but the money was there. So a con artist is going to do what a con artist got to do. So he extorted. Now, hindsight, the signs weren't there. Like there was no, like, I was around his family a lot. I watched their kids a lot, and I didn't see any signs. Like it went from he moved from Orlando, because I was with him in Orlando, to, oh, he's doing good, he got a 6-bedroom house, he's got a new vehicle, like God's blessing him. We didn't think nothing more, nothing less. So when everything came out, I'm like, I've been in your house. Like, I've watched you leave and take trips. Like, I was physically there helping your wife pack her bags for trips with this same brother. So for me, it was just like, wow. Like, if you can do that to him, the rest of us, it was like, okay, yeah, you don't care about none of us.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting you bring up God's blessing him, because that is often when we see the growth, when we see the circumstances changing and those types of things. We're not necessarily, when you are in a religious space or a high control space, even when I think of in the corporate space, sometimes we see this kind of, that was a little bit too good to be true, but I guess they're just working harder. I guess they're just doing more, or God is blessing them. When really, when you look back, you do realize that there were some underhanded things happening to make those things happen. Um, and what those we look to as leaders are willing to do to get in those positions and then maintain those positions can
Mm-hmm.
sometimes be very disheartening when you are someone who is seeking truth or you're seeking out leadership. That's one of the reasons that I decided to have this conversation in this way and title it in this way, is because so often we're seeking what we already have. We are seeking answers that we need to turn inward to find. And many times I don't really look at things and say, oh, well, I wish I hadn't gone through that or whatever have you, because that was clearly the experience that my soul needed to return to itself.
Right.
Going through the experience of growing up heavily churched
Mm-hmm.
and seeing the underside of that, and then going into, which I feel like the Israelites kind of make themselves seem like an answer for the Black person who knows that there's something off in the Christian church, but wants to stay connected to the Bible and the story of Christ and those pieces.
Right.
So it can feel like you're you have this elevated knowledge, or you're a step up from what a Christian would be.
Right.
But it is oftentimes the same through line. So growing up heavily churched and then getting into this space and seeing these men who consider themselves the prophets, and they're one step under Jesus, and they're wiser than the church pastors and all of this, to see the corruption in all of these spaces walked me back to myself,
Right.
and in the reality of what I'm looking for in these men, what I'm looking for in these leaders, what I'm looking for in these religious spaces is actually me, and how
Right.
I show up in the world. And they tell you in these spaces that as a woman, that is not the God in you, but that is the God in you.
Right.
So, so the next question that came up, because you also shared that the kind of turning point for you was, and I remember this, I won't say the brother's name, but when the brother was stood up in class and was heavily chastised, and then they walked back the chastisement. It was all these things going on at that time. One viewer asked, at any time before that meeting with the member, were there other subtle signs that something was off, but you ignored your intuition?
Mm, I feel like I'd say no, because when everything like came out, like people got chastised all the time. So of course you just, I guess you just become kind of immune to it because it's like, oh, ooh, they got in trouble. Let me stay out of trouble. So I can't say that I saw anything, because when the bomb dropped, like what really go went down, like, I was just as dumb as everybody else. Like when the bishops and deacons showed up, I'm like, oh, why are they here? Yay, they're here. And everybody's like, no, sis, if they're here, it's heads is about to roll. And I'm like, well, why? So I didn't know anything. I was completely blonde.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They cover well,
Yes, yes,
very well.
it is. Um, would you say that any of that was a not wanting to see?
Well, they kind of teach you not to see, if I'm being honest. So if something's about to come up against them and they kind of already have knowledge about it, it sounds so silly, but typical cult method is, oh, just so y'all know, they're going to try to say this about us, but y'all with us, right? Y'all know we didn't do that, right? That's right. That's right. That's right. And so it's like, yeah, we got prepped before like the news would drop something, or before somebody's on YouTube, hey, they did this. So it was like, oh, he prophesied that. We knew that was going to happen. Like we were just sheep to the slaughter.
Yeah, that's so interesting because now thinking back, for, we have been following, we left in 2019, probably since 2011,
Mm-hmm.
2010, 2011, like around that time. And there was only one centralized location. They were in the basement that, you know, and there would be times where they would be like, they're about to take our YouTube channel down. They're about to, and it was a precursor to
Yeah, those
that same kind of
lines.
energy of, now when they do this, they would say download all the videos in case they take the channel down. You want to make sure you have. So yes, that's us versus them, and there is
Mm-hmm.
this big bad scary entity out there that is wanting to get in the way of
Devour us and
it.
steer us away.
Yes, that very much was a reality. I think I've mentioned before, for me, I saw, I had, I'm very suspicious by nature. I'm a very suspicious person
Right.
by nature. Um, and so, and yeah, the manipulation was in full effect. That is so true. The manipulation was in full effect, even as you're recapping all of these things and bringing it back up. The that's right, and all of that. I remember the feelings of like unity and community, and we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
And it truly was. We are all on the same frequency. That is exactly what it feels like to be on a collective frequency.
that is true.
And they have, in their own way, mastered that for their intents and purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So, whew, yes, yes, yes. So, the next question, is this is a great one. Can you name some of the behaviors that you thought were normal, but now you see them as signs of control within the marriage and within the church?
Mm, a lot of gaslighting was popular. Like, I can say in my marriage, like, if I was learning to cook something new, because y'all, I'm a horrible cook. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But if I can meet a guy that can cook, that's fine.
Mhm.
Um, he would teach me something one way, and I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it. Hey, can you make this? Yeah, I'm gonna make it. I do it the exact same way, and it would be like, what did you do different? And I'm like, nothing. Did you do this, this, and this? You didn't show me that. Yes, I did. And I'm like, did he show me? Like, am I tripping? And then you would go in the church, same thing. Sister, we told you to do such and such and such and such. And I'd be like, no, you didn't. Yeah, we did. We told your husband to tell you. Babe, did you tell me? Yeah, I told you. And I'm like, dang, I'm slipping. My bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll do it. But the gaslighting was one. The fear, like the fear tactic of everybody's out to get you, and that was within your own house. Like, if you weren't loyal to your husband, well, in my case, most sisters, if you weren't loyal to your husband, you against him, his whole house. Same
Mhm.
thing with the church. Any slight, like, you're thinking about doing something other than what everybody else is doing, you got to go. You're going to spread destruction and doom. And it was just like a lot of like nitpicky. It's almost like micromanaging people. Like, let me micromanage you just enough to make you think you have free will, but really your whole life is revolved around me. And then at some point you just accept it and you're like, yeah, this is my day to day. It's my routine.
Mhm.
So, mm-hmm. What
Mhm.
did you see?
The ways, the exploitation of labor was
Oh,
one for me. I saw that right on. I was like, wait, what? For free?
for free?
That's a
No, no,
lot.
absolutely
Especially
not.
in a case where you are taking up alms and you are like you for me, it was the exploitation of labor. There was there was a time, and I think I mentioned this, where they wanted me to stop doing what I was doing with feminine success and having the conversations that I was having. And I didn't, because I mean,
Like, what?
which first of all,
Right. Like, what?
and I have always referenced back to the scripture in Ecclesiasticus that talks about not accepting anyone against your spirit. I try everything by my spirit, and if my spirit says no, it's a no.
It's a no.
So, um, you know, that was kind of my first signal was my spirit. We would watch from home and it got to the point where I could not stay up. Like it didn't I could be sitting straight up and I'm not a person who can go to sleep sitting up. But it didn't matter what was going on. It when class came on, I just could not stay up. And I was like, why is spirit putting me to sleep? And when I would go to sleep, obviously my husband and kids are still watching it, my dreams would be very strange things with the people talking in class, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, this is odd. And then we started to congregate when we got a school down here, and my spirit hated it even more. I was like, this is not how this is supposed to feel. Again,
Right.
growing up in church, I know how spiritual spaces that are loving and communal feel. And it didn't feel like that. It appeared like that on the
Mm-hmm.
screen, but it didn't feel like that when I was in the experience of it. So that kind of just put me all the way off. And I stayed as long as my husband was like, well, I don't know, and we don't know. And it was, I think for him, being raised Catholic. And I think this is the truth for a lot of people who are even considering walking away from high control religions and groups and things like that, is this idea of better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, it was like, I know it feels off, but if the sky crack open, I don't want to get caught out there in the world and not be doing what I'm supposed to do. And there's also in most narcissistic relationships this idea that it is the enduring and the struggling and the dealing with the pain and discomfort that makes you truly solidified in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's definitely some of the things that I saw and also experience before I saw things falling apart that had me thinking this isn't sustainable, it's not, this isn't right. And then I think the new moon kind of put the icing on the cake for me. That really just, I immediately, my spirit was like, this is, they are trying to pull the wool right now. When they did that class and they were saying that the full moon is the new moon,
And then backtracked it.
and then they went into scripture and they were like, and if you don't believe this, then you are against us, then you are out of the spirit, then you, and it's like, first of all, it's a lot of information to drop on somebody.
Can I get
Like,
a 1 to 2 business
when
day to
we have been
process?
taught all through our matriculation that this is the new moon, and what I knew previously was that the tiny sliver was the new moon. So okay, but we weren't even going back to that. We were going back to the full moon, some whole
Right.
new stuff. So that was the kind of, I looked at my husband and was like, no, this, no. And then when the scandal came out, he finally was like, nah,
Nah, we out.
this isn't okay. Because then it became criminality.
Mm-hmm.
And what are people who are connected to this implicated in? If
Right.
so, like, what now? What?
Mm-hmm.
And then the joy thing happened, and then that kind of confirmed for us that we were making the right move.
Right.
Let's see. Okay. And we actually talked about this, but I don't think we talked about this live on the record. We talked about this privately. And it's a great question because I had the same question, y'all. And that is, did you have a religious upbringing, or was this your first introduction to religious indoctrination?
Okay, this one's gonna be interesting. So it's gonna be real interesting. So when I was like 15 or 16, I was like, Mom, why don't we go to church? Like, we don't do anything. What are we? Like, do we believe in Christianity, Catholic? Like, what are we? So my grandmother and a few of her kids are Catholic, but they don't practice it at all. So I never saw a rosary or anything. And then my mom's like, I don't like, I believe in God, but I don't really have a thing. So I started going to church by myself when I was like 15 to like 18. Then I was like, well, y'all don't ever go with me. So I kind of veered off of that path and was just like, well, let me just kind of do my own thing. I looked into like Muslim, but it just didn't, I couldn't get into that. And then, after my mom had passed, that's when my sister introduced me into the space. But I never really had a strong, I guess you can say I didn't really have a strong one. I mean, I thought I did when I was 15 through 18, but I mean, not really. So yeah, I guess you can say they were kind of my first big experience of like community and unity and whatever they want to call it. It just felt like a big old family. So
Hmm. At 15, what do you think it was that was drawing you into a desire for that religious?
um I guess I kind of went through the emo phase where I was kind of gothic and what's my purpose and what's my place, and I don't know. Like in high school, I had a few friends and that was it. And I just didn't fit in. And I was like, what am I missing? Like, why can't I find kind of like my tribe or what I'm looking for? And it was just like, okay, well, let's try church. Like, a lot of people seem to really like this. But I don't know. It took a long time to find my tribe, but church was not, that wasn't the right option, clearly. No.
And it there are so many various kinds of churches. It may
Mm-hmm.
have been that kind of church. I've recently been learning about some different churches that I never even knew existed, um, that seem so much more aligned. One it has been run by a woman for like the past 40, 50 years. I think she recently passed
Wow.
on, but yeah.
Nice.
So I it's so interesting because we and Key said the same conditioning of externalizing your power a little bit earlier in the
Hmm.
conversation. And that really is what so much of it is this idea that our power lives outside of us and we need to connect to other people, a relationship, a organization, a company, a man to gain that power. Some
Hmm.
of us feel like motherhood is our power. And then
Hmm.
our children grow up. And then, there's so many ways as women that we are taught to place our power, our worth, our value outside of ourselves. What has what has taking your power back looked like for you since that first decision to take your power back and leave the marriage to now when you are deciding to take your power back and fight for your children?
So the first part was, it was a lot of mixed emotions because I had just found out I was pregnant. So it was like, at one point I was just terrified because I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, do I stay here and deal with this? Do I leave? Like, if I leave, where am I going? Like, it was just a lot of unknowns. But then at the same time, it was like, well, if I stay here at the rate that this is going, I don't see this ending well for me. um I'm already drained. I'm already not me at this point. Like, I look, at that point I looked terrible. Like, I was just didn't look good. So then when I got back home, I guess being home kind of made me feel like I have my power back. Like, I'm back on home turf. This is where my mom is. Well, my mom passed, but this is where home is. I felt safe. So it was like, even in those few months, it took a while for me to kind of really talk to people or deal with people because I'm still like used to the old life. So when I finally did start kind of talking to people, I like to be friendly. Like, I call myself like a little hummingbird. Like, I like to be friendly, and I get a lot of joy from just networking with people and talking to people. And so it was like, once I kind of start talking to people more, I was like, okay, this is feeling familiar again. And it was nice to have adult conversations with actual adults instead of being in the house with toddlers all day. I mean, I love my kids, but if you're a stay-at-home mom, that's who you talk to all day, except unless your husband comes home or your boyfriend come, like, whatever. But it was nice to talk to other adults and hear people's perspectives because I had been taught so long this one way. So to kind of get back out there, it was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even know people did that. Like, I just felt like I had just got out of jail. Like,
Mm.
oh, you
There's
have a,
so many restrictions in that
yeah,
lifestyle.
it's like, oh,
Like,
you, what kind of phone is that? Like, is that new? Like, you don't even think about phones or anything outside of it. Like, you're in jail. You get what you get, and
you don't
but
throw a
don't
fit.
throw a fit. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, but I was like, I don't know if she knows that one. But yeah, it was like jail. So honestly, it just felt like I got free. Like,
Yeah.
somebody just came and unlocked the door, and I'm like, oh, I can go out. And then it was like, once I took off, it was over. It was like, I can't be stopped now. I can't. I can't stop. I can't go back.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm. Key says a caged bird. Agreed. Agreed. And
very caged.
one of the interesting things is sometimes when you open the cage, the bird does not realize yet that it
It's
can be
open.
free.
Right.
And then the idea of freedom can be scary once you start spreading your wings and you realize I'm not in that contained environment anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for me and a couple other women that I've talked to, especially with the religious side of things, that component of uncontained spirituality can be really scary when you have been taught that spirituality is this box, it's done this way, this is the
Hmm.
right way. Anything outside of that box is demonic, witchcraft,
Right.
worldly, just flesh of the flesh, just all these things, all of these things. And then when you take back that power of deciding to be free, you do also have to confront the parts of you that are comfortable inside of the container,
Right.
parts of you that want to. And the Bible is so full of great examples of just real life stuff. The part of you that still craves Egypt. And this is a question that segues from that, because I don't think we've ever gone into this. I was cleaning up and I was thinking about the conversation and thinking about like what questions do I have? And the question that came up for me, we had the conversation and you were talking about when you moved, and I asked what was your initial goal? Like what did you think was going to be the outcome of that? And you were like, well, I thought that we would somehow reconcile. I thought that, give it some space, give some, which a lot of wives and married people, when they do make that move and kind of create distance in the relationship, they're like, well, hopefully this is the thing that
Hmm.
shocks the system and helps to reset us. Do you think that that was a part of you that was still craving the container? Because so many elements of what you've shared about him, the person that I know you to be now, it's like, oh no, that's a hard line in the sand. It's absolutely no way. But at that time, it's and being pregnant, I've been pregnant enough times to know, like, you crave that connection and closeness and all of the things that come along with that. Do you think that's what that was?
um Kinda yes and no. I think I was just so codependent for so long to be whatever somebody had told me to be. So the separation, I was just like, okay, maybe he'll kind of come out of his ways or his tendencies and try it a different way because we're on different land, different turf. We're changing, we're becoming different people. So I was like, well, maybe if he sees what kind of life I've made here on my own, maybe that'll kind of motivate him to be like, well, damn, she came out here and really held it down by herself pregnant. Maybe we should come out here and just fix this and do what we got to do for our house at home. Like, I really genuinely thought he would be like kind of impressed. Like, I've been an at home wife for what, 4 or 5 years at that point. So I thought maybe he would be like, dang, she held it down. Like, okay, I'm tripping. Like, we can figure this out. Nah, that didn't happen at all. Not at all.
And it's so interesting in high control spaces how it is often the story that the leader in the space would rather crash the train than
Crash
to
out.
see someone who they consider their subordinate doing better than them, leading the way, or to kind of cede a little bit of power. They'd rather just crash the whole train and
Oh,
everybody
yeah. Everybody got to go.
than, even for a temporary stay, hey, let's switch places a little bit. I'm a little bit better at this, you're a little bit better at that.
Hmm.
And that's so interesting. That was another part of it for me, was watching so much of that happen, especially once we started to congregate. I was seeing smart, devoted, beautiful women on crashing trains, and knowing that if that woman was driving the train, she would not be crashing. She's smart, she has it together, she can get her ducks in a row, and this man don't know what he's doing, but
Hmm.
because he's a man in this space, she is stepping aside and just letting him.
Right.
And to see the way that a woman's eyes can go from, you join and you're full of excitement, and
Hmm.
to see their eyes go dead
Yeah.
when you have to essentially kill the part of yourself that is
Mhm.
screaming, get off of this train.
Right.
This is about to crash everybody. Get off, and it ain't gonna recover. Like, get off.
Yeah.
To and I started to see the women become younger and younger. They started to
Mhm.
marry them younger and
Younger and
younger.
younger.
I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, this is not okay.
The younger the better. They wasn't marrying the old sisters at all. They was like, y'all, y'all ain't finna get no husband. Y'all can't be told what to do.
Really?
In a nutshell, it was just like, don't get a sister with kids because then you got to deal with her baby daddies and whatever else. And don't get an older sister because she's already set in her ways. As they called it, she's a rented car already. She's pre owned. You want you a new sister, a young sister who you can groom and get everything you want. If you taught her the game, she gonna listen to what you say.
So she can be riding around in a rented car? Because what are
Hmm.
they?
With all they baby mamas
This poor baby at 18 years old is now responsible for your back child support.
and your 8 kids
What?
every summer. Who's that? Oh, those are my 5 kids. You're gonna watch them this summer.
And this is not everyone's story, y'all. So
It's not, but we're
say that
talking
this is
about my story.
everyone's story. But this is definitely some of these young women, because in that space, relationships and getting married and finding a spouse and settling down and all of that is so heavily promoted and encouraged. Um, and I now that I have been able to step back and see the full picture, I believe that that is to lock women into the space,
Mm-hmm.
because as a single woman in that space, it's at some point you're going to walk away from it if
Yeah.
you have your wits about you. At some point, the way that they treat women, the way that they talk about women, the imbalance of power, the fact that the train is crashing, if you have a brain, you're going to be like, nah. But so many women are one foot out the door, but their
Mm-hmm.
husband is locked in.
Right.
And that keeps that woman and her labor and her children, which is another generation of membership, locked in.
Yeah.
So speaking of women being locked in, the last question, and this is within your comfort, you're able to share here, obviously, is about your sister. And being that she is the person who introduced you to the space, and that she is still there, the viewer asked, was your sister supportive of you leaving and of you leaving your marriage? And how is that relationship now?
When I told my sister I was leaving, it was kind of, she didn't say anything. Like, what could she say? Because if she was like, oh, I think I want to leave too, then she'd probably get kicked out too. And then it was like, I don't even think she said anything. I think I texted her and was like, hey, we're out. And I think that was it. Like, I've spoken to her, every once in a blue moon, maybe once or twice a year, if that. And it's normally me saying, hey, here's your nieces and nephews. But I don't, I don't even know when, if my sister even knew that I was divorced. Like, she might have heard things, but there was never a conversation where I was like, oh, hey, we're separated or we're divorced. Like, I think she kind of started figuring it out, and maybe she had heard things, but I don't think to this day she even really knows. She might think we're fine for all I know. I don't know. I don't talk to her. We haven't talked in years. I
Are you
haven't seen
not
my
connected
sis.
on social media or anything?
No, that's forbidden. Yeah, with the space, you can't talk to anybody outside of it, especially somebody that was in it and that left. That's a no. And her husband's got rank. He's very high up, and
How
I
would they?
don't. She's not gonna risk that.
How do they know who you're DMing?
They be telling her. Like, Father, I've sinned. Or they'll tell somebody else, like, hey, I did something bad. What do you think I should do? And they done told Bishop, and now there's a whole class about what you did.
Now that
It happens all the time. We be
uh,
having all the tea. All the tea.
yeah,
Yeah,
Keith.
the last time I saw my sister was 2018.
Okay, and
Like in the
that was
flesh.
before the fallout.
Yeah, she met my firstborn son, but she's never met any of my other two children.
Yeah, the fallout was in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it's and not to get into the business. You're saying the restriction is it individual to her, or is it
It's
just
everybody.
collective?
Everybody.
That's so interesting. So there are other friends that you made in the space that you just don't.
If they're still in the space, no. Not at all.
That's
That's a no.
that's very interesting, and it's not even reminiscent. It's a literal mirror of being disfellowshipped in Jehovah's Witness. And as I have been diving deep into the documentaries that exist and the books that exist and all of these different things about cult behaviors, cult leaders, how they become who they are, all of these things. He took pieces from
Mm-hmm.
every group. I remember early on, he would say that before he was with One West, he was with Nation of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see so much of the Nation of Islam in the way that he runs his branch of the Hebrew Israelites, because there are various branches, but his branch and the way that he runs it, very Jehovah's Witness, very Nation of Islam,
Mm-hmm.
very fundamentalist Christian, um, a lot of the sprinkles of IBLP and that whole focus on the family, James Dodson experience of like middle America white Christianity, but in blackface.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting because recently the Atlanta chapter was, I guess, beefing with Philip Anthony Mitchell, the pastor in Atlanta. He's a big pastor in Atlanta now, who espouses many of the same beliefs, but he is just stone bone Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Christian Smith, who is a theologian and pastor who goes deep into deconstructing, he was like, y'all are beefing and y'all are saying the same things.
Right.
Y'all hate women. Y'all, the only thing you saying is Jesus is white and you saying Jesus is black. Other than that, y'all the same thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And with many churches, they go and argue and debate and beef with these pastors, but y'all are saying the same things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mel Gibson says it's fun to listen to this as a theology student. Yes, listen. And thank you for that comment, Mel. I recently was having a conversation, and I am of the belief that anyone who is a theology student or in seminary who does not become radicalized is drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, you are really learning the history of religion and you do not become radicalized, and instead you go in the pulpit and continue to perpetuate the lies, the all of the foolishness. You didn't drink the Kool-Aid. You're part of the problem.
They got you.
Because there's so many people I know who are like, yeah, I was actually a theology student. I was actually in seminary when I became an atheist. I'm like
Crazy.
a lot, because there is no way to learn the facts
Mhm.
and be a truth seeker. Some people are not seeking truth. Some people are seeking a container that feels good. But to be a truth seeker and learn the facts and still live the lie.
That's crazy.
Mel Gibson says, I agree. So, you know, if you're learning the facts, but you're agreeing to live the lie, that's why I look at all pastors now like, oh, so it's really about the money for you, or the power, because it
Mm-hmm.
can't be about the truth. It can't be about the truth.
No, not at all.
It just can't be. But I absolutely appreciate you for giving us some more of your time today. In this last couple minutes, I want to ask about your journey right now with retrieving your sons and bringing them home to safety. For those who are, if you're watching on YouTube, that's where we're streaming. The link to support Gabby's journey to bring her sons home is in the description. And it'll be in the description of all the videos that we share on this conversation. But what is that like for you right now? It's
It's
happened since our
draining.
last call.
It's draining. It's a lot. Like, the best way to describe it, I'm literally just kind of walking by faith right now because it's like humanly possible. I've done every output that a mom can do, like literally every option that has been presented to me to use as a resource, I've done. And it's just like at this point, it's best to just kind of walk on faith.
Mm-hmm,
Um, I'm grateful enough that I have found a very, very good resource, and it's just costly.
mm-hmm,
It's very costly. It's gonna seal the deal. She's a good attorney, but it's just hard because when you're walking on that faith line and kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna interfere anymore. I'm just gonna let my ancestors and God do their thing collectively. Like, I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna do anything else. It is hard, like, because you have to think the kids still have to live a day-to-day life, and they're still trying to get by, and they're still enduring, waiting for me to make my move. And it's like, yes, I talk to them, but when I talk to them, it's a mask. And I know my kids, so I know what a mask looks like. It's a mask, and it hurts because it's like, if you were in front of my face, one would be up under me,
mm-hmm.
Mommy, I just want to lay on you. And the other would be like, can I go watch TV now? Because y'all are, mm-mm. Like, we would have real dialect and real conversations. But it's hard because it's like, what else can you do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking for help and support because I truly, truly need it. And it's been going well. Like, people are really pouring in. We raised a lot just in 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, I was shocked because I was like, man, people make these things every day. Like, no one cares what you have going on. Everybody has their own thing. But when I look at where I am now and who I am, I've tried my hardest to touch people's lives. Every person I meet, I try to do something nice or just try to be a good person because I don't know what everybody else is going through. I know what I'm going through and I'm stressed out. So I'm like, let me just try to be nice or just try to, even in my job, like I work for the community, I work in traffic, and I deal with a lot of people. And when they crash their car out, and they just total the only car they have and they know that's it, they cry on scene.
Mm-hmm.
They break down, and I ask, do you mind if I hug you? Like, I can give you a hug. And it's just like, this is reality. I just had a girl break down in front of me today. She's literally at the light to turn and go get gas, and her car broke down. And she's like, I'm so embarrassed because I don't even have $20. Like, I was just gonna put $5 in here. And she had like a 99 Buick. We all know $5 ain't about to do nothing for that cargo tank. But it's hard out here. And it's like, try to be a decent person and treat people with respect. And for my kids, like, I just want to teach them the same thing. Like, it doesn't have to be hard, but I just want to get them back in a safe space where they can be who they want to be. Because right now they're masking, and no child at 7 and 8, 6 should mask. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to pretend or put on a front or say you're okay and you're not okay. Like, they actually just lost their great grandfather 2 days ago. And that's hard for me to accept because I'm like, how are you dealing with it? Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? Like, this is their first traumatic thing in their young lives, and I'm not there to nurture and be like, it's okay to cry. Are
Mhm.
you okay? Do you need me? Do you want your stuffy? Which stuffy you want? Do you want the whole bed full of stuffies?
Mhm.
And that worries me because I'm like, are you okay during this process? Like, this is fresh. This is something different. You saw this person every day and
Mhm.
now they're just gone. How does a 7 and 6 year old process that? And so it's been rough. It has, but I've been trying to keep my spirits up.
Mhm.
I've been trying to just keep going. I do have one here, Davina, so I just try to keep going for her. And girl, she keep me going. She is all the other two in one body. Like if I tell people if I would have had her first, I would have been done. I would have just been like, nah,
Right.
just here you
Yes, we got to get her down here to play with Zai. I am on video right now, though.
go. Yeah, Davina, she's my wild child. Wild and
Yes, they would
free.
have a great time together. Zai is she has she is a Gemini, so she has various personalities and
Hold
she
on, is
them
she?
all.
Oh, they would be best friends. She's a Cancer, Cancer
Oh
Gemini. They'd
yes.
be great friends.
Named all of her little personalities, and one of them is called Wild Girl.
Okay.
Wild Girl, and that's her personality when she just wants to cut up and run all over the place and just be Wild Girl, swing her hair.
Hmm.
And
I
all.
might have to tell Davina, okay, what are you about to do today? So I'm aware and I know how to move accordingly. Like, how are we feeling today?
Yes, she has sad personalities that are they have their little names. And one who never smiles, but they're not sad, they're not mad, they're just I said, okay, that's Mr. Melancholy. That's
Right.
I'm just but yes, they got to get together for sure. So I'm so happy that we were able to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Even in all that you are experiencing, for us to be able to document these moments so that your sons can look back and see where their mother was when she was fighting for them and taking back her power and showing up for what really matters, and that we can open up the gates for others to support you. Because sometimes when we're in high control situations, the people in the situation are being programmed not to receive. They're being programmed to give, 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 and to be okay with being exploited
Hmm.
at the end of the day. Whether we're talking about a company that is programming you to be okay with knowing that they're making billions of dollars a day, millions of dollars a day, but you making $150.
Right.
And that having to quiet the part of you that knows it's being exploited. So then when we step into the light and we take back our power, a part of that power is tapping into community and receiving and activating the part of the flow that comes back to us, not just the part that's constantly going out, constantly pouring, giving, doing. And in that space you can be made to feel that you're unworthy for receiving help, support, nourishment. I remember talking to women back then about, because I've always been big on insourcing for my household. When financially it makes sense, if I can hire a housekeeper, if I can hire somebody to meal prep or whatever the needs are, I'm going to do it because I do a lot. And
Hmm.
back then I would tell women like, hey, if you have the extra, go ahead. And even if it's just sending your laundry out for the wash and fold, like instead of having to
It's
do these
something.
piles of piles, because they're telling y'all to have all these thousands of kids and kids come with laundry.
Lots and lots of laundry.
So even if it's like, okay, bag all your laundry up, leave it on the porch, and let the wash and fold come pick it up and bring it back to you clean, folded, whatever. And they would be like, are you serious? Are you
Hmm.
serious? No,
What
I
the
would
hell no?
never ask for help. My husband would
Would kill me.
and even look at you like, how dare you? How
Yeah.
dare you not be able to carry it all?
Hmm.
Mind you, these are men and leaders who need to be told how to turn on the washing machine, just how to turn it on.
Babe, come here. Why ain't this working?
You know, it's a very user friendly appliance. It's like one knob, two knobs, and a button
Press it.
usually.
Press it in. Yeah.
So it's so great, and I just pray that you continue to, as things unfold for you, allow yourself to open up and receive what is available for you. I think this is the second time that you have been surprised by how much people do want to help and do care about your story and want to see you win. And nobody's out here like, why is Gabby asking? We got our own stuff going on. People, we're moving into a time, and this is the beautiful thing about the feminine rising that's happening. We're moving into a time where it is an honor to lock arms with our neighbors, to help those around us. If you just look at the recent situation with SNAP and all of that happened, and the ways that communities were like, don't even worry about it. We're going to come together and feed each other. Don't even worry about it. We have ICE coming in town right now. Folks are all in the Facebook groups. Give me your address. Tell me what school your kids go to. I'm doing carpools, so nobody has to
Right.
drop their kids off. The ways that these external pressures are causing us to go within, whether that's within community or within ourselves individually, and actually produce the things that we've been thinking about doing, the things that we've been like, oh, I should start a mom group. Now you
Right.
start that mom group,
Right.
because even in that, when we are stay-at-home parents, you can't fall into the only people I talk to all day are the kids. We have
Mhm.
to be more intentional about curating communities of adults around us.
Mhm.
We love our babies
We do.
and we love our husbands, ladies, but we still, and our men, we still need to curate communities of women,
Yes.
of like-minded women, of like-focused women. And my coach tells me all the time, of women your ambition level and above.
Yes. Very important.
People who will help to pull you up. People who, when you're around them, they make you want to be better. They make you want to do more and stretch and be a bigger, bolder, brighter woman.
Yep. High vibrational.
Yes, 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 yes. And also, who holds space for, that's the beauty of women's circles. We can hold space for the dark sides with each other too. We can hold
Yep.
space for tears, and we can hold space for the joy.
Yep.
And sometimes we're programmed to look for that in our men, in the male, in the masculine, when it is incomplete. The We ain't gonna go deep into that conversation tonight, but the masculine is incomplete and the feminine is complete. We're not gonna find completion in something that is looking to us for completion.
Right.
So we have to return to ourselves and return to each other as women, and give thanks for the function of our brothers, but also know that they're never going to be, the fullness of what we're looking for.
Yep.
Nor are any of these systems that have been built from the masculine, have been birthed from the masculine, because the not gonna go too deep into it, but the masculine births from his head. And that is not a complete birth.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So with that, y'all, we ain't gonna hold y'all all night. I will be back tomorrow to have a conversation in The Women Are Out of Control about silence, about the power and the punishment of silence. I've been waiting to have this conversation for a long time. And I said, you know what? Under this good Scorpio new moon, we're going to have it. Yes, Key said, another great conversation. Thank you for answering our questions. Wishing you continued strength. Absolutely.
Thank
More
you.
strength, and also more softness, so that receiving begins to feel good to your body and good to your mind, and you're able to relax into what's for you. So
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Thank y'all so much for showing up and for your time this evening. See y'all later.